Okay, someone that runs a Filmmaker YouTube channel, there's a ton of tech that's always popping up, and I'm always interested in seeing what is on the market, what is there, things that you may not be aware of. And I think this Suncrafter S300C is a new light system. I've never heard of this company before. They reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in taking a review of this S300C. So I'm taking a look at it, showcasing what it is, and letting you decide if this is something that might make sense for you and your kit. Now, this S300C is a RGB ACL 6-color 300 watt RGB light. That means that this thing has a ton of kick to it, which is going to be more than strong enough for, say, interviews and stuff like that. But it also has a good color range that lets you go, is that full RGB? Lets you get basically anything you want to get in a creative kind of commercial type setting. Now, because of its RGB tech, this light has a color temperature range of 1800 Kelvin all the way up to 20,000 Kelvin. So if you're a bicolor shooter, this is going to be something that gives you a dynamic, huge range. And the 6-color lamp beads in this are designed kind of from the ground up to give you a wider kind of color gamut, and it's supposed to give you increased light accuracy. Now, this light has a CRI of 97 and a TLCI of 94, so it's going to give you a pretty darn good color accurate tone. Make sure you don't get any weird spikes on skin tones and stuff like that, which is important if you want to use this for interviews. Now, because this is an RGB light, it has a lot of color controls. Now, it has a standard CCT color mode, that 1800 up to 20,000 Kelvin, which, I'll be honest, when I use any kind of light, that is what I find the most practical. I would say about 90% of the time I'm using any light, I am using it in a color temperature mode, either 3200, 5600, something like that, because that's what I use for interviews. But what is nice is having that RGB flexibility when I need that 10%, when I need to get that color accent, or things for product photography, if I want to add a little splash of light on a background. And what I really like this is, even though I use the color temperature mode the most, because this is an RGB light, it has an option for magenta and green shift. This is one of those things that is very, very useful when you're in a bicolor mode or CCT mode, because over time, some of these LED bulbs will tend to shift in color a little bit. So if you have an older LED light, if you have a green magenta shift, you can actually get this and dial it in and match it so all the lights in your studio have the same color. A really useful feature. But in addition to that CCT mode, you have a lot of full RGB options. You can go HSI, you can go RGBW, you can use gels, and you have XY modes to dial in this lighting effect however you want. In addition to that, there are multiple kind of RGB effects that are built into this light. Now, the design and setup of this thing is pretty straightforward. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about it is they do have this sort of white design, so it's really easy to stand out. It does stand out on set. One thing I would say about this is that this is going to be nice on a smaller set. If you're someone that's planning on traveling a lot, I do think over time this white's going to get a fair amount of nicks and clicks on it, because that's just what happens on a set. And in addition to that white design, everything on here is kind of a hard plastic design. So, like I said, I really see this more as a studio light. I don't see this as an extensive travel light because of this hard plastic design. It seems sturdy. I haven't had any problems with it, but I just don't know how it's going to stand up after if you're taking it on set and moving around every couple of days. Now, the two other elements of this build that I think are very important to know is it is nice is that it does have this locking power connection cable here, which pops in this XLR format. But what I love the most about this, as far as the form quality goes, really important to me, is this thing is a full-size Bowens mount. So you can take any of your Bowens accessories or modifiers that you have, and it can easily fit on there. Super easy, exactly what you'd want. This makes this light universal for most accessories out there that you're going to find. Now, the S300C does have a kind of a clean, minimalist control interface on the back. There's just a few buttons. You have an on-off switch on it, and you can basically do dim. You can set the temperature here, you have a mode button, and then you have a Bluetooth control, and it's pretty simple and intuitive to use. Not a whole lot to it. In my opinion, with the Suncrafter S300C, you don't really have full access of this light unless you are using the app. So let's take a look at it. Now, the app actually uses the Lumen app, which actually is sort of a more universal app. You can actually use my iFootage lights, use those as well. So having an app that's sort of universal like that is a nice component. And if you look here, you can come in the Lumen app and you can have access to all the things that you would think you would possibly need. You can sit here and as you can see, I can do CCT mode, I can do HSI, I can do RGBW, there's my XY controls. I can get all these different gels, both Roscoe and Lee, depending on what I want to do. And I can basically get the effects and dial in the effects as I want. Now, it also has a music thing. Boom, boom, boom. You can see that it's now reacting to my voice. So if you need, sometimes you need light effects that may hold off on what you're doing, a reactive voice. This is a nice thing. It's also good if you need something for DJing and music. Okay, and now in addition to the light, Suncrafter does make one really, really nice accessory that comes in this nice little handy bag, and that is this little Suncrafter D90 Parabolic Softbox. Now it's a 90 centimeter softbox, it's a 36-inch softbox. Now I found this softbox to be a perfect accessory for a light like this because it allows you to utilize that full 300 watts of power. It's a nice parabolic shape, it's 36 inches, it's got double silk, and it comes with a grid to allow you to control the spills. What I like about this is also designed in the way that the aperture softboxes are, and then you're not putting threads. You can pop it open super quick and break it down very quick. It's a great travel accessory and because it's a Bowens mount, you can use it on the Suncrafter, or if you have other Bowens lights, you can use it in that capacity too. Now, whenever I do a review of any product, I always like to point out any rooms for improvement, just so you're fully aware of any limitations a system might have, so you can make the best decision if it's right for you. Now, when I look at this Suncrafter S300C, I think the biggest room for improvement I would have to point out is going to be this display screen here on the back. Now, the first thing about it, it's a simple screen, that's fine, but I did find, for some strange reason, if you're above it, it's hard to see it. If I get below it, I can see the screen okay, but if I'm above it, like right now, I'm having a hard time seeing that screen. So the angle of view can be a little limiting depending on your angle. Shouldn't be a problem because you usually be below the light, but you should be aware of that. But my biggest issue with this screen is not the field of view. It is actually the fact that this screen itself doesn't show you everything that the light can do. As you've seen in the Lumen app that I had, you can access RGBW, XY, and gels in this light. This light has a ton of features packed into it. But for some reason, the OS on this light will not let you access that directly on the light itself. I don't understand, it's a little weird. So you can access CCT, you can access HSI on this mode, and you can contact the FX. But even the FX aren't listed, they're just numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 to whatever it is. So you have to kind of guess if you don't have the app what you're getting in like the FX mode, for instance. And just not being able to access every single aspect that this light has except to the app, I did find something that would be a big room of improvement. Now, this is something that if you're in a studio is not going to be a problem, but I definitely think the fact that this light really needs the app to completely unlock all the powerful features of it is something that it would be nice to see a firmware update or something like that that allows you to access all of the great power that this light actually has on the light itself and not require a third-party system. Now, once you use this Lumen app, it is great and it really unlocks all these things on there. And I think that's really the key to understanding this light. I think it's a good, powerful light that's designed, in my opinion, to really be designed in a more studio or controlled setting where you can comfortably use app. But if you need to travel a lot with this light, I found like the hard plastic and just the ability to be able to easily monitor the back may make this a little more challenging for those type of situations. Anyway, guys, that is the Suncrafter S300C. I thought this might be something you may be interested in learning a little bit more about. Love to hear what you have to say about this. Leave me any notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. And yeah, talk to you soon.